Hello and welcome to Homescreen. I'm Joe Colchester, Product Manager here at 11FS Pulse. Homescreen is brought to you by 11FS Pulse, our collection of over 4,000 user journeys from banks and fintechs from all over the world. So head over to pulse.11fs.com to request a free demo to see how others are solving their UX challenges. In today's episode, we're joined by Elliot Goykhman, founder of Zelf. So we're going to be talking about how Zelf is building a fast and frictionless messenger banking platform that integrates with Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and others. How are you doing today, Elliot?
Hey, Joe, thank you very much for having me. Doing just fine, thank you.
Great. So do you think you could just start by telling us a little bit about what Zelf is and how it operates?
Okay, so first of all, Zelf is a fintech. In effect, it's a neobank that functions in your favorite messenger. We sit on top of Trezor, which is a fully owned subsidiary of Societe Generale. That's a bank-as-a-service platform, and we are currently live in France and Spain. So what messenger banking means, it means that you're able to conduct all your daily banking within the messenger of your choice: WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, Telegram, and Viber. And we have done, it's basically embedded finance that we allowed people to communicate to chatbot in order to perform all their functions and to actually be able to execute command with a voice, text, or buttons that we provide in the messenger.
Okay, great. And why do you think this kind of messenger-based banking is the way to go, or messenger-based payments?
Right. So there are a number of reasons for it. So first of all, that we feel that embedded finance is a way for people to conduct finance in the applications that they already use is the way to go. And a lot of super apps, especially in China, have proven that to be a successful strategy. But at the same time, we have taken into account that Gen Z is a generation that has a lot of information coming at them, and because of that, the bloatware, the necessity to switch between application is something that they dislike. So since they spend over 85% of their screen time in social messenger applications, we felt to bring that financial experience into their messenger of their choice is the way to go. And because their attention span has been quoted to be 8 seconds, we feel that the necessity for fast onboarding to be able to conduct the financial operation in the same app where you just discussed the finances. So for example, if I owe you money for lunch, I don't need to switch to another application, find you there, and to send you money. I can do it within the same application that we just discussed the financial matters.
Absolutely, and I can really see the utility there, because let's say you're saying you owe me for lunch. There's really no excuse if you're messaging each other in the app where the money can be sent to not pay them for lunch.
That's right.
And you don't have that awkward follow up.
Exactly.
Hey, how are you doing? By the way, you still owe me 10.
Exactly.
So I can definitely see the appeal there and the use cases. What have been the kind of the challenges in building and designing this product?
Right. So there has been quite a long history of different fintechs trying to do this, and a lot of them that they have failed because either at that point of time the API has not been open and they had to use some hack or like sort of gray API integration that was prohibited by the vendor. Another example, some of them try to do an equivalent of like unique scratch codes that I generate and I send to you in the messenger, which you then import into a separate app, and this is how the money is transacted. So all those approaches that have been tried before, because obviously it was on top of everybody's mind, like why can't we do this in the messenger? But with the introduction of the open API from WhatsApp and Facebook, it became much more possible from the technological standpoint. But there were still challenges to do it properly, securely, in compliance with PCI DSS, PSD2, like with all the data privacy concerns. So because of that, on top of just the API availability, there was just a host of other issues that the fintech would need to solve in order to do that. And we are confident that we are the only ones in the world that have done it across different platforms, across different locales, and that was the actual challenge.
I see. Is it a kind of ongoing challenge as you're kind of at the mercy of these messenger apps, you know, how they might develop, you then have to go and tweak your product to integrate with that?
Right. I wouldn't say that we're at their mercy. I feel that people who were doing the great integration were at the mercy because they could have been turned off at any given point of time. With our main channels, which is Facebook and WhatsApp, they're really our partners because first of all, we officially became the partner and integrated into their server infrastructure to connect to those API. They do really a very deep due diligence on who you are. You submit like corporate paperwork, etc. So because of that, they know who we are, and because of that, they wouldn't just turn us off at a moment's notice. And at the same time, for example, there is a revenue generation stream for WhatsApp for example, certain messages that we send to our customers, and we advertise on Facebook. So because of that, it's more of a partnership that we get access to this very convenient channel for us and for our customer. And in return, Facebook, through both WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, they generate the revenue stream for themselves.
I see. So you mentioned revenue there. How does the platform actually generate money?
Right. So we have really reinvented the onboarding process, but the banking product as such, we haven't reinvented. We are using for our initial onboarding, and that's why it's so fast. We're using an equivalent of a prepaid card, which doesn't require any detailed KYC, and that can be done based on simplified due diligence. And with the debit product, basically we are relying on the interchange that we're getting from the scheme. In our case, it's from MasterCard. But we have also created a revenue stream for us for top up. So for example, each customer gets a card and an IBAN number, and they're able to top up via IBAN, via SEPA transfer. And it takes sometimes 2 or 3 days, and it's free for them. But if they want to top up from another card, basically a P2P internet acquiring transaction, that's where we take a small percentage, which is significantly higher than interchange, but it's at the same time, it gives the customer the convenience of instant top up. So this is one of the ways that we're earning money right now. And in future, we're planning to introduce obviously some loan facility where like probably in the second year, we'll probably do trading and maybe insurance. So it's a little bit early to say, but we will provide service also to the self-employed and the freelancer business. So the similar way as, for example, PayPal business is earning money. That when you're invoicing somebody, you are paying a small percentage when the money is being paid to you.
Okay, great, got it. And in terms of you don't actually have an app itself, there must be some benefits in that you can keep a kind of reduced product team. You don't constantly have to be kind of updating your app or
You're absolutely right, because the challenge for a lot of banking mobile apps is that when you're rolling something out, there is a lag in also, first of all, when you submit to, let's say, App Store or Google Play, there's a time when it goes through basically their own triage and checking on the Apple and the Google side. But at the same time, there is a lag in how soon people update to the latest version. In our case, since all the code resides on the server side, it means that as soon as we roll out a feature, let's say a new leaderboard competition for our customers who invites more people in June, it's instantly available to everybody across the board. And also with the reduced team size, it obviously reduced the cost, and the investors are able to appreciate that it actually takes much less workforce to actually do this. But it's also good for the customer because, for example, Revolut's app is 360 megabytes, and when we're talking about Gen Z, and this is the generation that is the youngest one that is starting to earn money, they don't always have the phones with the most storage. So because of that, for them to just install on the fly 360 megabyte app might be a challenge.
Okay, got it. And they for sure will have that WhatsApp app downloaded already.
Absolutely.
And as you say,
That's right.
and are on it non-stop. That makes a lot of sense. So obviously the focus is Gen Z now and how they interact with their phones and their habits. Do you see you kind of capturing that audience young and then kind of messenger-based banks being the way forward as they kind of mature?
That's right. So one of the key differentiators that we have chosen for ourselves is we are not positioning ourselves as a kids bank, where the parent has to sign up first, and only then that parent can issue a card for the child. We're looking at the situation where when the let's say the young adult can either issue the card for themselves, or they can issue the card and then bring the parent in order to remove the limitation of that limited prepaid card. And the other important factor is that not positioning ourselves as a kids bank. When they grow up and when they either get their own business, they start freelancing, or they get full-time salary deposited into the account, they don't have that stigma, oh, this is a kids bank. So for example, GoHenry, they have a solution only for the kids. There's nothing for the person who has reached the age of 18 to do longer in GoHenry. There is no longevity in the bank, and we have chosen that we are becoming the bank that grows with you as you are ready to go through KYC, as you're ready to deposit your salary. We are starting to monitor your activity, and we are giving you also like upgraded offers of what you can do with the bank. So it matures with Gen Z audience.
Absolutely, and once they turn to it as their main kind of payments app, main banking app, they'll see no reason to choose anything else, or at least that's the idea.
That's right.
So can you tell us a little bit about how users have responded to the app so far, or the feature, I should say?
Right. The response has been really amazing because by the design, we rely a lot on the word of mouth advertising, and we have actually created a way for them to earn valuable bonuses that are actually used as cashback money in order to compensate them for their purchases. So when let's say a kid invites another friend, then they get let's say five euros for inviting a friend, and those €5 are part of the gamification process. When they get €1 for when their friend issues a card, €1 for when the friend tops up the card for the first time, and €3 when they pass the full KYC. And this motivates the young adults to actually understand the product and be able to explain more about it. It's similar in the way to how Snapchat was going. There was never a great UI interface or very self-explanatory app, but one teenager would be explaining to the other how it works.
I see. Yeah, and the convenience of it will just spread.
That's right. So the ability, because since they are young, the ability to earn money is one of their number one concerns. And as we roll out more products, for example, for the child-parent relationship, will allow them to basically complete certain chores, maybe to complete some questionnaires, maybe sometimes even watch ads and get compensated for it. As they grow up, they will be able to issue invoices for the freelancing work that they do.
Okay, great. I noticed that there was a kind of almost newsworthy waiting list for people to join up the app, and kind of great kind of marketing around that and a lot of hype. Have you seen the user base grow steadily since the launch?
We have concentrated on not on growing the waiting list, but growing actual customers in France and Spain, where we have passported, where the license of Trezor, that bank as a service platform, has been passported. We're looking to open up more countries, and we have actually signed 2 more agreements. And I'm actually happy to announce that one of them is with Rails Bank. So we are really looking forward to entering UK market soon. So we have concentrated not just on growing waiting lists from various countries, but on concentrating on the countries where we are actually able to deliver the cards in the near term.
All right, fantastic. Well, congratulations on that expansion.
Thank you very much. We have actually had over 100,000 card holders like less than a month ago.
Great, and we'll check it out in a minute, but you can see why, because the sign-up process is ridiculously quick.
Thank you. Yes.
So in terms of inspiration, where did you get that from? Are there any other features or apps out there that you draw some inspiration from?
So The main inspiration was probably the WeChat Pay and the spread of the QR code based payments in China. Obviously, the situation is rather different because the banking in China was non-existent, and WeChat Pay platform has really filled the void that existed in the Chinese market. We're nowhere claiming that there's such vacuum of service in the EU or UK market. But we feel that the convenience of signing up, convenience of paying within the Messenger app, convenience of scanning QR codes is just something that a lot of bank institutions are missing out on right now. And we are looking to really capitalize on that.
Okay, great. And then who do you see as being the sort of main competition at the moment?
It would be unfair to say that we have no competition, but a lot of other banks, they're either neglecting the Gen Z category, or they're just viewing Gen Z as basically, oh, you are kids, you have to go through parents. So because of that, there is no real bank because of that, those banks, they speak to the adult in the family rather than to be able to I would say lobby through the kid, and that's what we are doing. And obviously there are products in the market. There's Step in the US, there's Revolut Junior in Europe, but I feel that their approach is wrong, especially that they're not really getting people weaned off cash. That with Revolut you are getting the card with which you can go to ATM and withdraw cash, and then where is the accountability and where is the reporting for the adult that shows you have sent let's say £100 to your son. This is how he spent his allowance, rather than you would see 100 quid has been withdrawn from the account, and how he spent it you don't know. So there is no value of accountability to the parent, and we're trying to change that.
Yeah. Okay, I see. So what we're going to do now is take a look at the onboarding or the sign up process, and you can just talk us through that.
Right. So in this demo, which we slow down 2 times from the actual speed, we see the person connecting to the chatbot via link or scanning QR code. The chatbot requests the phone number of the person to associate the account with. Then it sends the one-time password to that phone to validate it. The person receives SMS and enters that in either WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, etc. Once the phone number becomes validated and the bot says, yes, that's the right SMS, they request the name, the first name and last name. The person enters that, and that actually is all information that we have to collect in terms of the simplified due diligence in accordance with the regulation pertaining to limited prepaid cards. So the person has provided that information. The bot is going and picking the number. We have an internal SLA of generating the card within 30 seconds, but on average we're issuing the card and an IBAN number within 10 to 15 seconds.
So that was a remarkably quick onboarding journey. I don't think we've actually seen anything on that scale ever, and it's the most popular journey, as you can imagine, in Pulse is onboarding by quite some way. So well done getting it to that place. How did you go about doing that? What's the kind of secret behind it?
So the secret behind it is, first of all, really understanding the regulatory framework and what's allowed and what's not allowed. And most of the banks, they view KYC as a sort of a roadblock, like a block post on the road that you cannot go any further until you actually provide all your information, the place and date of birth, you scan all your documents, do the selfie, you do the liveness test where you need to rotate your head, then it gets processed on the back end, and only then the person is told, yes, you have passed the KYC, now we'll send you the plastic card in the mail, and you will receive it in, let's say, 2 to 3 days at best. Mm-hmm. So when we have examined that, we said, wait a second, there are stores selling cards that you can just go to any convenience store in London. You can buy a card, you give them, let's say, £20, you say, please top up this card with this money, and you are walking away with a normal card that has that money on it, and nobody asked you for your ID, etc. And that's because the AML5 regulation, it actually has very specific provisions on what information you're required to collect, what MCC codes are you allowed to do the transactions on. Are you allowed to withdraw cash? Are you allowed to send money to other people? So there are very, very specific regulations that have to do with simplified due diligence that also apply to those prepaid and gift cards. So we have analyzed that, and we said, why don't we take out the KYC as a mandatory step? We'll make it an optional but rewarding step for the customer. Instead of saying you must do that, we're saying, how about you get a card providing us basic information, validating the phone number, but then we give you €3 for actually doing the full KYC. So instead of making that roadblock, we have actually made it an upgrade of the existing card. So you want to remove that €150 limitation. You want to be able to do foreign transaction. Please pass KYC when it's convenient for you, when you are, let's say, in a better lighting conditions, when you have your passport handy, and that actually is a life changer for a lot of people.
I can definitely see that, and it's interesting because it plays into kind of building up trust amongst users, because why ask for quite personal details and hard to find documents if you don't need them at that stage.
That's right. And also you first prove me the value, explain to me why I need to do that. What am I getting out of it? Why is it just a requirement? So you're absolutely right. And also the trust is one of the things that we are getting the benefit of, is because people view messengers as trusted applications, because you speak to your family, to your loved ones, people exchange financial information, etc. in messengers. So because of that, we're already in that sort of circle of trust, and we feel that we don't want to violate it by just saying, okay, you're required to give us an ID right now. When you're ready, you will go through the KYC process.
Okay, I see it. And at what point is that KYC, that kind of further KYC step required?
So in most European countries and the UK, it's not required, as long as you stay within €150 per month upper limit. As long as it's okay for you not to have foreign transactions, it means that the card can be used only in the country of issuance. For example, if a Frenchman issues a card in France, they can only use it for transactions on French websites in French stores. They cannot go abroad with this card, because such is a requirement of the AML5D regulation. But if you're okay with these limitations, not withdrawing cash and just using the card for purchases and for purchasing goods and services, you can stay really indefinitely within that limit. But if you decide, okay, I have stumbled upon this limitation, I want to purchase, let's say, goods from the Amazon.com, then as soon as the bot detects that you're trying to do the foreign transaction, it would say, currently foreign transactions are limited on your account because you have not passed the verification. Get verified and receive also a bonus from us.
In terms of the split amongst your users, how many of them, what kind of proportion of them have gone for that additional KYC step?
I'd say right now approximately 15 to 20% they're opting out for KYC, and I think that's a very good percentage. But most of the people who are opting out for KYC are also the ones who have activated the cards, meaning that who have actively started using it, because the person who has not become active with the card, they probably would not want to go through KYC just because they don't see the value in getting verified. So, but maybe 15 to 20% of our active user base are going through the verification step.
Going through the additional step, okay, and then really kind of making the most out of the app.
Correct.
In terms of the kind of user experience, is obviously it's quite narrow, you're quite restricted. But in a way, there's a kind of beauty in that, and we've seen a lot of kind of chatbot-based features in apps that have kind of they've actually started using that conversational style as a means within their own app when they don't have to. So there's clearly some advantages to it. Could you talk us through the kind of process you've gone about making those that that kind of experience for users.
You're absolutely right about the limitation of the standard chat-based services, but the beauty of the messenger apps is they have recently started to as people started to recording voice memos to each other, the bots are now able to actually react to person's voice. Mm-hmm. So even though the menu itself and let's say the text commands, they're limited, the voice commands are really unlimited, and we see that in Amazon Echo, in Google Assistant, in Apple Siri, and because of that, and since we are within the financial context, because of that, for us it's much easier to understand the intent when the person is actually saying something. So if I say to the bot, send £100 to Joe, it will actually go into my address book and it will say like which Joe, if it has access, for example, to address book. But if it says, okay, I don't have the Joe's, I don't find Joe, or I don't see your past transfers to Joe, I will just provide your phone number, and then would say, okay, so please confirm that you're sending 100 pounds to Joe, and then there's your phone number confirming. So there's a lot of flexibility in just voice commands. So for example, I could say, or a freelancer could say, create an invoice for 120 pounds for proofreading an article. Mm-hmm. And the Google Dialogflow technology that we're using on the back end, it recognizes from the voice, it recognizes what was the amount, what was the intent. We're basically training that AI engine to recognize certain words, and it would understand that, let's say, the proofreading an article is the memo of the invoice, the 120 is the amount, and then you would be able to just show me that QR code that generated within 2-3 seconds, and it makes for the fastest process of requesting money from somebody. In PayPal, for example, you would have to do a lot of keystrokes, enter the email address of the person, line item, total, generate invoice, send it, wait for the person to receive it. Here I'm saying one command that takes probably 3 to 4 seconds, then it takes 2 seconds to generate that QR code. I'm showing you the QR code, and you are immediately transported to the page where it says, pay Elliot £120 for proofreading an article. Boom.
Wow. So that's just really exciting developments there, and kind of new territory as well for finance apps generally. And actually on that point, what are you most excited about in terms of feature releases, either in the short term or in the longer term?
The feature that we are really excited about is the obviously parent-child integration that we are going to roll out probably within the next 2 months. That would allow parents to exercise even more control over their children's spending. If somebody, let's say, is fitness conscious, they could say no fast food. Somebody could say no ATM withdrawals. Somebody could say I'm only giving you money for let's say gas and car expenses, etc. So be able to give the fine control into the hands of parents, and at the same time solving the biggest financial challenge that the kids have of actually getting the money of their own. And the next phase would be that I would be excited about is doing more with voice, because when you would be able to say, pay for the cable the same as I did last month. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing that you just saying one phrase, and your financial assistant, that artificial intelligence agents like Jarvis for the Iron Man, it understands, okay, you're talking about cable bill. We have paid, let's say, £35 last month. Please confirm this. Yes, boom, done.
Yeah, I can certainly see the appeal of having a kind of Jarvis on standby. That's really exciting. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited about keeping an eye on Zelf. We're kind of amazed when we saw it for the first time, we're really kind of interested in the way it goes, and sending you the best of luck.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you for having us. And for those listening and watching the program, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or actually try out the Zelf neobank yourself by going to our website, zelf.co.
Okay, great. And now a quick word from the Pulse Pick of the Week.
Our Pulse Pick of the Week goes to the inventory adding journey from London-based insurtech SoSure. AI helps users detect household items as they can scan the room with their phone camera and quickly build out their content insurance inventory. The process is very quick and, given how fresh this type of tech is, even enjoyable. Also, where further information is required, the manual processes involved are exceptionally streamlined.
And finally, thanks for watching today's show. If you want to see more journeys like this, head over to pulse.11fs.com to find out more and catch up on Homescreen episodes as well. Thank you, everyone. Cheers, Elliot. Bye-bye.
Cheers.